place behind the Bills. Can they still make the playoffs?
Absolutely. This Patriots team is 3 snaps away from being 5-1. I think their season comes down to week 9, week 10, and week 11. In that stretch, they play the Chargers, they play the Panthers, and they play the Cleveland Browns. If they find a way to win 2 out of the 3 of that stretch, they are going to make the playoffs. I think the Patriots are a dark horse in the AFC.
Bill Belichick showed no mercy against the New York Jets, coaching his Patriots to a 54-13 blowout win. Zach Wilson exited during the second quarter. An MRI confirmed today that a sprained PCL in his right knee is expected to keep the Jets quarterback sidelined for 2 to 4 weeks, a source telling our Adam Schefter. New England is second in the division at 3-4. Who wants to start this one here? Okay. Stephen A., with the AFC wide open, can the Pats go and make a run?
Well, they could, but I would say no. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to the playoffs. Just from a scheduling perspective and the fact that they're not the most talented group in the world, I think Bill Belichick is a great coach that's bringing them along. I see the development of Mac Jones week to week, along with some of the other personnel pieces that they have. But in the end, it comes down to 2 things, your record and your schedule. And I'm thinking about, you've got a road game against the Chargers up next, okay? I believe that's a loss. You've got a road game against Carolina. You could potentially win that. You got Cleveland after that, which I think could potentially be a loss, even though that's at home. You've got a game against Tennessee, 2 against Buffalo, and the Indianapolis Colts coming up. I see at least 4 more losses on this schedule. Best case scenario I see for the New England Patriots is a 9-8 record. And because of that is why I say no playoffs in the AFC.
Now, I want to hear the argument that says they will be, or they can make a run. And I heard this, Dan. I want to hear this argument because I'm with Stephen A. There's no way we're looking at this team right now as a playoff team. Just by they only beat the Jets in Houston. Yeah. That's it.
But they've also lost to the Bucs and the Cowboys by 1 play. So if we're gonna, here's my thing. If we are gonna say, and I agree with you guys, that the Bucs and the Cowboys are 2 of the best teams in football, right? That's
no doubt.
Indisputable? Indisputable. If there's a team that loses to them early in the season with a team that they're trying to figure out who they are on a rookie quarterback at the end of the game on the last play, how can we not sit here and consider them to be a good football team?
Well, they're a good football team.
Okay, so good football teams have legit chances to make the playoffs. So I'm looking at a team, again, first week of the season, they lose to Miami because Damian Harris fumbles the football. He has not done that in the last couple of weeks. And I go with the New England Patriots. If you asked me 2 weeks ago, who were they? I'd say they're a really good football team that does not convert in the red zone because Josh McDaniels had not figured out all right, how is he going to use Jonnu Smith? Watch the way they're using Jonnu Smith right now. They're not letting him be a route runner anymore. Get the ball to him. We're just getting the ball to him. Let him go be an athlete. Hunter Henry has become the route runner. Watch how they're using Kendrick Bourne a little bit now. This defense is starting to play good football. The screen game is picking up for New England. I think they're a good football team. I think that here's the thing, the way I see the Chargers game, it's a bad matchup for the Chargers. What's the Chargers' weakness? Teams that can run the football against them.
And they can't defend the run.
New England will put a hat in the run game. They are going to pound
just like
the football against the Chargers. And I think Bill Belichick is going to look at the matchups and go, how do we minimize a little bit of the Michael Williams and Keenan Allen? I think they can go on the road and beat the Chargers. Absolutely. I actually expect them to. Carolina, Sam Darnold's not playing good football. Last 3 weeks, Sam Darnold's been playing bad football. I think they can go on the road and beat Carolina. So then they sit at 5-4 and go. Then we have a very different conversation when they go to play Cleveland. Who knows what Cleveland's health is going to be? If Odell is going to be on the team at that point. I think the Patriots can absolutely make the playoffs. I know their schedule is hard. I think they can beat Buffalo one time. I do. I think this is a good football team.
We like to do that. We like to measure and say, oh, man, these guys, they play the top teams tough. And they did. They only lost, as you said, they were in those games, and they were. But they didn't win any of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? You didn't win any of them. And in order to get to the playoffs, you can't just be in those kinds of games. You got to show an ability to win those kinds of games.
Michael, how about the poise we saw from Mac Jones? I mean, that was like a Super Bowl. I'm saying when Tom Brady came to town, all eyes on that game like no other.
Right. And man, what a performance. And I told you guys, I would have been so hot at that kicker. If I had a chance to beat Tom Brady and I lose that game, I'd have been so hot. And he's done a fabulous job. But to talk about getting in the playoffs with this team right now is not realistic. Though this team has made great strides, and I'm on WEI every week, and I tell them, listen, you guys, you have to look at the small increments. Victories for this team. They played those games close. That's what you're looking at, but you're not going to the playoffs, and it certainly can't
Let's
get
also
anywhere
pay
near
attention
Super
to
Bowl.
this fact. We make noise about what he did against Tom Brady. The week before that, what happened? They got shellacked by New Orleans and Jameis Winston.
It's the only bad game he's played.
I'm just saying, let's not forget that.
Yeah.
No,
that's all I'm trying to say.
Stephen A., I'm
That's all
just
the
saying
process
poise
for a
in
young
that
quarterback.
moment. I mean, that is one of
That's
the
all
most
the
talked
process
about
for a young
regular
quarterback.
season games of all time, and they almost beat them.
Yeah, I'm thinking he played
People thought it was
without
gonna be
money.
a
I'm thinking he
blowout.
played without money personally. They won 19 to Tampa Bay won 19-17.
Yeah.
To me, that story. Listen, Mac Jones played
right.
well,
No
but
one's
the
saying
story
anything.
wasn't Mac Jones. The story was how the inclement weather and how that defense showed up for New England against Tampa Bay.
And I'm not so sure they're going to take out the Chargers as you are. I mean, maybe that Gilmore to take out Mike Williams. I'm not so sure. They will
I don't
run
see
the
the
ball.
Chargers
Let me ask you
losing
this.
another game. Not after what they did
Even
to
into the
Chargers last
future,
year.
how good do you think Mac Jones is going to be?
I
Is he
think
going to be
he's
like an
very
elite,
good. Very good.
Yeah.
elite
Very
quarterback?
good.
Yeah, I think he's
Yes.
going to be a top 10 player.
No doubt.
Because of the system that he is in, that
Yep.
plays in,
No doubt.
they'll be a top 10 player at the position.
I
I
like
think
Mac
he
Jones a
is
lot.
a
No
Matt
doubt.
Ryan type of player. If you watch him, he plays so fast. He plays so fast and makes good decisions with the football. He's going to be a really good player.
I think a higher ceiling than Ryan.
I'd ask you this. What do you think the Patriots don't do well as a football team? Right? Because that's when we're talking about making the playoffs and teams who can and cannot. What do they not do now? Because I think there's 9 teams in the AFC that are legit playoff contenders. Tennessee, absolutely. I think the Raiders, absolutely. The Chargers, the Bengals, Baltimore. I think we're talking about Indianapolis is that team that can make the playoffs. I think we're talking about the New England Patriots, the team that can make the playoffs, and Cleveland.
Did you
make
say the
valid
Bills?
points. You know, you make
And
valid
Buffalo,
points.
excuse me,
You
yes.
make valid points. You know what my retort to that would be? They do a lot of things good. Nothing really great.
That's fair.
When you consider who they're going to go up against. You know, one of those good teams that can make things competitive, but somehow, some way you can close the door on them. That's who
I
New
think
England
that's
is to me.
fair. I think that's fair. I look at the way the team has played over the last 3 or 4 weeks. And again, the efficiency on offense, the physicality in the run game, the decision making at the quarterback, the way they're using the little different pieces, and their defense is starting to play good football.
And all I would need, you
coach.
ask me one
Never
thing,
said that.
just where are the explosive plays? I need that explosiveness that will scare me, and I don't see that.
And that's a fair point. They're going to have to be very methodical offensively.
Right, and that's a hard drive, time in and time out with a rookie quarterback. And nobody's saying Mac Jones isn't great.
Yeah.
He's been playing great, man. He's exceptional. We're not saying that. Just we're saying he's not ready for a
NFL,
play.
everybody
Dan,
can't
keeping
get to
hope
the
alive.
postseason. Everybody can't get to the postseason.
Listen, Stephen A., do me a favor. When you mention the Panthers, could you mention who beat them?
Oh, the Giants?
The New York Football
Congratulations.
Giants.
The Panthers beat
Congratulations.
themselves.
Listen.
Goodbye. You need to go. Don't you have to go to Bristol and do NFL Live? I thought we were friends.
A dead clock is right twice a day.
Goodbye.
Okay, it
Goodbye to
happens.
everyone. Still to come on First Take, Tom Brady threw touchdown pass number 600 yesterday, and Mike Evans finished the day.